There are plenty of ways to induce labor with the help of a doctor, like the doctor sticking their finger all the way up into your cervix and making a sweeping motion, thus separating the bag of fluid, the amniotic sac, from your uterus wall, which is a process also known as stripping your membranes, your doctor physically breaking your water, or your doctor having you take a prostaglandin, either orally or vaginally, to soften your cervix, often followed by an injection of the synthetic version of the hormone oxytocin, which is Pitocin, and or the doctor using a Foley balloon catheter to help open up your cervix. But what if you wanted to start encouraging labor to begin without the help of a doctor? Is there anything that you can do that's scientifically backed from the comfort of your own home? Welcome to the Deconta channel, where we discuss all things educational and we never duck away from difficult topics, including on whether or not there's something you can do from the comfort of your own home to encourage labor to begin. Now, if we follow the same logic of the doctor giving you some kind of hormone that's like a prostaglandin or a synthetic type oxytocin hormone, we would need to think about a way to naturally release both of those hormones at home. Luckily, if you're not on pelvic rest due to some form of pregnancy complication, then the best way that you can release both of those hormones is by having orgasmic sex. Just to clarify, this does not mean that having sex will cause labor per se, but if baby is ready and it's close to your due date, it could help get things rolling. Also, you don't have to worry about sex causing preterm labor or anything like that, because the science is still out on whether or not it's actually a useful method in getting labor started in the first place. But from a logical standpoint, it is releasing these same hormones that your doctor would be placing in your body to get labor induced or started. But how could having sex possibly kickstart labor then? Well, it turns out that the primary component of a man's sperm is those prostaglandins that I mentioned before. And those prostaglandins are there to help transport the sperm through the woman's reproductive tract and to help the sperm move in general. So the bonus here is that the sperm could hypothetically do the same thing that the pill form of the prostaglandin would do when a doctor inserts it into your hoo-ha. That is, it could help soften your cervix. The other thing we are interested in releasing through our body is oxytocin, the hormone of love. Now, just the act of intercourse isn't going to necessarily cut it for the woman here. She's also going to need to orgasm in order to get that full release of oxytocin through her body too. So there you have it. The first thing you can do to try and naturally coax labor into beginning is to have orgasmic sex. For both parties involved, that is. But again, remember, there's still no solid scientific evidence of this method working. Another method that releases oxytocin naturally is through breast and nipple stimulation, which is the same thing that allows for the milk let down for a lactating woman. The research conducted on this method actually does support inducing or encouraging labor to start. However, within this study, they had the ladies massaging their breasts for at least 3 hours per day for 3 days straight. That's a lot of breast massage, which caused 37% of the women who were performing the breast or nipple stimulation for those 3 days, at least 3 hours a day, to go into labor, in comparison to only 6% of the women that were in the non-breast nipple stimulation group. So clearly this method is supported by the research as a way to release oxytocin and get the labor process going. But it may also cause severe and prolonged contractions that don't actually end up leading to labor at all, which could also cause fetal distress and harm. So as with anything pregnancy related, you should still talk to your OB before trying any kind of breast or nipple stimulation to get labor started. Unfortunately, unlike all the hype you'll hear online or through the old wives' tales, there's no miracle food that will magically bring on labor. at least not according to the research they're on anyways. Many of these suggested labor-inducing foods, like spicy foods, dates, eggplants, and castor oil, might actually do more damage by causing a ton of distress on your digestive system and causing you to go number 2 explosively. Which of course could make your contractions start, but those contractions might not actually be the contractions that'll put you into labor anyways. And then to top it off, you'll have a digestive system and a butthole that regrets your decision afterwards. Plus, you might get dehydrated from the explosive poo too, so not the best idea. One interesting chemical side note for the food category is for pineapple. It is true that the core of a pineapple contains high amounts of a chemical called bromelain. And since bromelain is often used as a meat tenderizer, it is thought to also be able to soften your cervix and increase uterine contractions. That's great, except when they tested this in the lab, they actually put the pineapple juice directly onto a rat's uterus that was removed from the female rat's body. And yes, when they did that, the uterus did contract. However, when they gave the rats pineapple to eat, nothing happened. So from the research we do have on pineapples, we know that if we apply the pineapple extract directly to the uterine tissue, that it'll cause contractions, but eating it will essentially do nothing. So unless you plan to shove the core of a pineapple up your cervix, please do not try that. Then this whole pineapple to start labor thing is just not gonna work for you. As I have discussed before in a previous video, linked below, anything herbal is still a drug. So whenever I hear of women sticking evening primrose oil, which has a chemical in it that's a precursor to prostaglandins, up into their hoo-ha, or of them drinking copious amounts of red raspberry leaf tea to hopefully stimulate contractions, I always cringe a little bit. Herbs are drugs. So I beg you, before you try any herbal remedy anything, please talk to your doctor to make sure that there's no contraindications with any other kind of medications you're taking. Or better yet, talk to your pharmacist and make sure that they know all of the medications you're on, herbal or not, so that they can make sure there's nothing interacting negatively between those herbs and your other meds. Exercise is great to try for bringing on labor, but there's not really any research supporting a specific type of exercise that will help encourage labor to start. But by all means, try the whole curb stepping, walking, hiking, rotating your hips in circles on a yoga ball, whatever you see fit and whatever makes you feel comfortable to try and exercising. Do it. It couldn't hurt. Just know that there is, unfortunately, no research scientific data to support it helping the labor process get started. The last category you may have heard about is for acupuncture and/or pressure points. And the jury is still out because when research was performed on these, it's come back with conflicting results. In some of the studies, it appears to work, and yet in others, where one group of women received correct acupuncture and another group of women received like a sham or like incorrect, they were put in the wrong spots acupuncture, they didn't see any difference between the two groups as to going into labor. So long story short, we don't know if acupuncture or pressure points work to get labor started. But don't be surprised nonetheless if your massage therapist or your pedicurist refuses to massage your inner leg above your ankle, because there's still a pretty strong notion that that spot will help get labor started. And what's the scoop for the feels on week 39 of pregnancy? Well, here's the summary. I just love the feeling when my feet are so swollen that when I walk, I feel like there's jello balloons or water balloons on top of them sloshing back and forth. It's so fun. And this is even before I start walking today. Just right as I woke up from the morning. Hooray, swollen feet. Oh, and swollen hands for that matter. Hooray. Getting a cervical check done for the first time at 39 weeks. And if I'm dilated at all, we'll get a membrane sweep. I'm a little bit nervous. And what is our little bundle of joy up to in there at 39 weeks of pregnancy? Other than running out of any room to move. Our baby is now between 18 and 20.5 inches or so, or 45.7 to 52 centimeters long. So still about the length of a leek, as we said last week, as seen in the model here. Difference being this week is that your baby probably weighs somewhere between 6.5 to 8 pounds, unless you're giving birth to quite the chunker, like my mom did at 10 pounds. As in prior weeks, our baby is still putting on all of that fat under their skin in order to be able to regulate their own body temperature when they enter into the big world. But what's extra cool right now that your baby's doing is that they're probably replacing their older skin cells with newer skin cells, which I think is pretty cool. And there's only one more week till we meet our little one. Sleepless nights ahead, y'all. Now, if you really do want to ensure that you are going to meet your little one next week, then it's probably best to go to your OB and get your membrane stripped as opposed to trying the at-home methods. Having those membranes swept will certainly hurt a lot more than having sex or playing with your boobs or trying some kind of herbal remedy or exercising or getting acupuncture done. But the one thing we do know is that membrane sweeps do work. They're pretty effective. What natural methods of labor encouragement have you heard of? And has there been one that worked for you or someone you know? Let me know all about that in the comments below. These videos take quite a bit of time to make, but it would only cost you a second to like this one. And to join us for the birth of our little girl next week, all you have to do is subscribe to be notified of that video posting. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.